how we are thinking about things. Are you a constant learner? Are you someone that enjoys learning? Because that's how we get to the life that we don't need a break from. That's how we design our ideal life. But again, the distinction is formal education versus self education. Again, the thesis of the calls, guys, is if you change your thinking, you change your life. Well, a lot of us have been programmed that formal education is the way that we build a life, right? Education is everything, right? We've been taught that. That is a story. That's something we play in our minds. But then we get out of school, we get out of the institution of school. And how much learning do we actually seek? How much listening do we actually do? How much unlearning and relearning actually happens? How much are we reading? Right? That stat that they said that the average person reads five books a year. Average CEO, successful person reads 5 books a month. 80% of people in America did not buy a book or read a book last year. And we wonder why people are average, why people are middle class thinkers, why, right? Because we've taken away the fact that learning is about self education. It's about you increasing your knowledge and then applying that knowledge to get you to the life that you want, not the things that everyone else gets taught. It's such an important distinction, but we don't often go down that path. If you are going to become the average of the 5 people you spend time with, if you're going to become what you're reading in books and what you're learning, and we haven't picked up a book since college, and we happen to pick up one fiction book that our friend introduced to us because it was a great story, if that's all our level of not, then no wonder why we're not able to get to the life that we want. We've stopped learning. We've stopped going hard on self education. You don't have to go back to school. They're just going to teach you the same things that everyone else knows. But what do you need to know to get your life to where you want, to have success in all the areas? I used to say this all the time because, again, I learned these principles early. So I'm constantly reading things. One of the books, one of the topics, and again, I've been talking about it a bunch just because it's top of mind for me. But like, no one comes out the womb knowing how to be married, knowing how to like have a healthy, successful relationship. Yet, how many books have you read on it? Right? Like if that's something important in your life, like it is for me, right? Faith, family, business, right? If family's important and we have some issues in parenting and we have some issues in marriage, how many books do you read on it? How much are you learning about it? Or do you just go through that life at the same level of awareness, at the same level of knowledge that you have, and think that that situation changes? That's just one area. What about the areas of your health? When's the last time you read a health book? When's the last time you read about, right, how the body operates? When's the last time you read about any of those things? When's the last time you read about finance? When's the last time you read about business and entrepreneurship? When's the last time you read anything that's going to help you get to the life that you want? This is where, right, we have to make small shifts. These are the areas, right? Life comes to distract us. It's distracting you from the things that will actually get you to the life that you want. Again, it says here in our text, 177 mental toughness secrets, it says the great ones are learning machines. Because, and again, those 2 videos, again, they break it down so that you can understand that like this is how we've been programmed, right? This is how we've been programmed. We've been programmed that like reading and learning and all this stuff is boring. It's boring. Like people that right get out of high school, you can't wait to get out of high school, and then you can't wait to get out of college. Like it's like you can't wait, and then you get to the real world, and that set of rules, that set of information, that set of knowledge that you have, like doesn't apply to life, and yet we don't keep learning, and we don't keep growing, and we aren't actively seeking this knowledge of self education so that, like Jim Rohn said, we can build a fortune, not just financially, like in all the areas. Here's what it says in the text. It says, for most people in the modern Western culture, learning means memorizing facts, theories, theorems, and dates. That's what most of us were taught to do in school. To average people, learning is late night cram sessions and a pot of coffee to stay awake. Professional performers have overcome this outdated industrial age system and created a formula for learning and developing their minds. As speaker Jim Rohn says, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. The pros know this to be accurate and invest heavily in books, tapes, and CD programs on everything from personal development to business sales, marketing, and management. They read and study trade journals and become world-renowned experts. Average people spend less than $10 annually on books. The top 1% of income earners in America invest nearly $10,000 annually on books and other learning resources. They attend seminars, workshops, and retreats. Amateur performers look at these investments as a waste of time and money. They are more likely to invest their money in lottery tickets, satellite TV, cigarettes, alcohol, and other forms of entertainment. The great ones, in the words of scientific genius Buckminster Fuller, dare to be naive. The middle class thinks they have little left to learn. World-class performers know the more they learn, the greater their level of awareness they reach. The greater the level of awareness, the more they realize how much there is left to learn. The great ones know learning, like love, is infinite. There's no end until the heart stops beating. Are you a learning machine? Like, is this your habit? Is it your habit to understand things and learn how to learn, right? How to teach yourself things. This is what creates the life you want. It's nothing in formal education. Formal education will make you above average. We are trying to get to world class, designing your ideal life, getting to the life you don't need a break from. Like, that's where we're going. We're not just trying to be above average. So that means you have to do things differently. How much have you invested? How much have you invested in your personal development? How much do you spend a year on books? How much a year do you spend on seminars, webinars, like things that are going to personally grow your health, your wealth, your relationships, your spiritual life? Like, how much do you invest in that? It's important to understand that, like, these are the little things. These are the little things that allow you to get to that life, right? Some things in here that, again, correlate to the videos that we were just watching. Where did it say? It said the great ones dare to be naive, right? It's almost what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, entitlement to a degree if you believe you know all that you need to know, right? There's almost a level of like entitlement where you're like, I don't need to learn anything else. I know what I need to do. Clearly not if your life is not where you want it to be. Clearly there's some information that you have that is incorrect, or maybe you're just not applying it. And so these are things we have to pay attention to. Something I wrote down is, who challenges your thinking? Who do you get around? What do you read that challenges how you currently think? Because how you currently think has gotten you to the life that you have. How you currently think has gotten you to the right in the environment that you're in. The question is, who do you have around you, or what are you reading that challenges how you think, that challenges your actions, that tries to pull you to a higher level? This is why learning is so important, right? And and this is why, right? Like, again, I'm formally educated, just like probably most of you. Went to school, right? Went to college, got a degree, right? The whole nine. And then I get introduced to this. I just got introduced earlier than most. I'm in my mid-20s when I start learning these things about the things I don't know. And so I started to go really hard on personal development, on reading, on learning, on changing how I'm thinking about things, right? So I come from that same place. And what we realize is school, this is why I talk a little bit like negatively, so to speak, about school. It's just school takes away our love for learning. Most institutions take away our love for learning from what the guy said in the videos, because the things that they're telling us or teaching us we're mostly not interested in, but we have to play this game of getting good grades and learning how to work this system. And then we get out of that system and we're like, man, I don't want to learn again. I don't want to read a book again. Like I hated this class. I hated going to this. This teacher was so bored. Like we have this mindset that like it's that's not what we should be doing. And then we come into real life and we wonder why our lives are not getting to the place that we need them to get to. It's because we have a lack of information that we're applying. And this is why you have to be a lifelong learner. You have to be a lifelong learner. You have to start to read more. You have to start to listen to things that challenge your thinking. This way, and again, this is what happens. Jay Shetty said the Maya Angelou quote, but it says it in here. The more that you start to learn, the more you start to realize how much you don't know. It's a middle class thinker that says, I don't have like I know this stuff. I don't have a lot left to learn. That's an average thinker. As you get to world class thinking, you start to realize how much you really don't know because you're constantly learning. When you're there, again, it changes your behavior because your thoughts are changing. It's changing your character. You're not criticizing people anymore. You're open to listening more. You're using your ears more than you're using your mouth. Like there's so much happening because you're learning. You're asking better questions. You're trying to take in information because you don't know everything. You don't know someone's situation. You don't know that subject or how to get to this life. Like you realize it the more you start to learn. And that is a subtle distinction. That is a small shift that we all have to make if we want to go off and design our ideal life. Remember, formal education will make you a living. Self-education is going to make you a fortune. You're going to learn the things that you need to learn. Again, struggling in your health, challenge you to read 5 health books this month. Challenge you to do that. Think about your health different. Struggling in your marriage, I challenge you to read some marriage books. I challenge you to read 5, 6 of them. Struggling in your parenting, I challenge you to read 5, 6 parenting books. Struggling in your finance, challenge you to read 5 financial books. Like the information's all there. Our programming is that I already kind of know that stuff, or that's really boring, or my attention span can't last, or right, like any of the things we tell ourselves as to the reason why we won't take in new information has our life exactly where it is. And so we got to know just what I talked about. We got to take responsibility, take ownership of your life. One of the ways you take ownership of your life is take ownership of what you feed yourself, of what you consume, of what you put in your mind, of what you choose to read, of what you choose to learn. That's your responsibility. And if you are taking in the right information, if you are reading, if you are learning, if you are constantly thinking about understanding better, learning more, right? If that's your mindset, that's your habit, your life will change. Again, back to the thesis. If you change your thinking, you change your life. If you want a situation in your life to change, it's going to come with the renewing of your mind. It's going to come with you thinking about it differently. So then you have to focus on, how do I change my mind? Well, it's what you consume. So stop watching the TV and open up a book. I know it's not your habit. It hasn't been your habit for 15 years. I get it. And if you want things to change, you might need to change that habit. You don't think you have an attention span for it? Well, guess what? Let's practice some meditation. Let's practice some things that are going to help you get more mindful, to slow your brain down, to read a chapter out of a book, to read 10 pages a day, to read 15 pages a day. Instead of, our proclivity now for many of us is, let's spend that 15 minutes thumbing through the phone, scrolling through the thing on TV, right? It's all about how we're thinking, guys. And so again, this is just another point to say, like, you got to change some of these things. Invest more in this. Invest more in your personal development, right? I think it was Bob Proctor or someone said that you should strive to invest 3% of your annual income in your personal growth. You take a LeBron James, the reason why he's still playing in the NBA is because he invests $1 to $2 million a year in his body, from trainers to products to gyms, he invests that back into his body. That's why his body has not broken down in 20 plus years in the NBA. It's because he invested back into the thing that was going to make him successful. Millions of dollars. Like people have that type of money. They choose not to invest in their body. So, what if you took 3% of your annual income? 3% of your annual income, right? If you make $100,000 a year, it's $3,000. Make $50,000 a year, that's $1,500. Back into yourself, your learning, your knowledge, not school, your self education. What do you need in order to get to the life that you want? What if you took that, if you made that commitment and say, you know what, I'm going to put that money back into myself. It's not going to go to sports betting. It's not going to go to this investment. It's not going to go, I'm going to invest that back into myself with this stack of books and this seminar that I'm going to go to. And through this process, I'm going now to rewire my mind, rewire my thinking so I can get to the life that I want. What if you made that decision? Your life would change. Action step for today says make a commitment to develop your own self-education program. Read, listen, and attend seminars and workshops. Set a goal to read a certain number of books and listen to a certain number of, it says CDs, but right, podcasts, I don't know, whatever that equivalent, the equivalent of that is. This shift in lifestyle will catapult your career and your consciousness. What if you just did that? When I say go out there, do something that scares you, do something that pushes you outside of your comfort zone, picking up a book and sitting down for 30 minutes might push you out of your comfort zone. It's the small things, y'all. It's the little subtle things that you're not giving time to that absolutely will change your life. I'm here to encourage you to go do it. Never said it was going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Whatever's challenging you, whatever situations you have in your life, maybe you should read about it. Because remember, problem can't be solved at the same level of consciousness it was created. Whatever challenges, whatever problems you have in your life, it can't be solved at the same level of awareness that you created the problem, which means you have to raise your level of awareness in order to affect that problem. You have to read more, learn more, get around better people that challenge how you think so that you can raise your level of awareness and those problems go away and you chat, right? Like there's going to be another set of them, but those problems that you had, they start to go away. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. Your kids deserve to win. Like you deserve to win. But you got to do your work. It's not just going to fall on you. It's not just going to happen. We have a set of programmings that are allowing us, limiting beliefs that are causing us to stay exactly where we are. If you feel like life is cyclical and things keep happening to you, it's because your thoughts are still the same. And because your thoughts are still the same, your actions are still the same, and it's getting you the same results. Change the way you think, your life will change. Love you guys. Enjoy your Wednesday. I'll see you back here on Friday. Take care.